Following up now on a bizarre story that we covered last week, both Democrats and Republicans in the Pennsylvania State House are claiming they have the majority and even held dueling swearing-ins for majority leader. In November, Democrats won a majority of seats, giving them the slimmest possible of leads, 102 to 101. But one of those Democrats who won had died. Incumbent Anthony DeLuca of Penn Hills, Pennsylvania, passed away just before the election, so officials didn't have time to remove his name from the ballot, but he still won. In addition to that, two other Democrats who won and remain very much alive won seats for higher office. Representative Summer Lee was elected to Congress, and Austin Davis is now the lieutenant governor-elect. Both resigned their House seats, leaving a total of 3 vacant seats, making the current makeup 101 Republicans to 99 Democrats. Now, everyone agrees the Democrats will almost certainly win all 3 of the open seats when there are new elections. But the question now becomes, when does that happen? And what happens in the meantime? The Republicans are now attempting to delay 2 special elections from February until May. And in the meantime, they may be trying to use that time to push through a handful of far-reaching constitutional amendments that could have long-lasting effects. According to GOP lawmakers, those amendments include one that would impose voter ID requirements and also make it easier for the legislature to override regulations by allowing the General Assembly to block legislation through a majority rather than the current 2/3 required. Another proposed amendment would ensure the state constitution does not protect abortion access, although that would be much tougher to pass. Look, it may be that the Republicans actually have the stronger legal argument, even though Democrats have the better moral and political one. Republicans do technically hold the majority today, but Democrats say the voters of Pennsylvania have spoken, and the will of the people is that Democrats should be in charge, that those 3 seats are Democratic seats, even if it's up in the air as to which Democrats actually sit in them. And remember, both sides held dueling swear-ins for majority leader and acting speaker. House Democrats swearing in Representative Joanna McClinton, House Republicans swearing in Representative Bryan Cutler.
As the Republican leader, I was sworn in as the Republican leader. It is the math that makes me the majority leader at 101 to 99.
Representative Bryan Cutler has filed a lawsuit seeking to delay 2 of the 3 special elections, which would all but inevitably go to new Democrats. The state's election agency said in a court filing that the plan is to move ahead with the special elections in February unless a court orders otherwise. The court's expected to rule on that later in the week, but there is still a lot the Republicans can do in the meantime. Joining me now is Pennsylvania House Republican leader Bryan Cutler, who, according to the Republicans, is also the majority leader. Thank you very much for coming on the program. Appreciate it. All right, so let me ask you this. You're filing a lawsuit now to delay filling 2 of the spots. Why not just have special elections as quickly as possible so we get rid of all this ambiguity?
I would have loved to have done that. When you look at the unfortunate set of circumstances that you outlined, we all knew that Representative DeLuca had passed away and that we were in a unique position at 101-101. The big issue is we have case law that says only the majority leader can issue writs of special elections during the intervening period from December the 1st to swearing-in day, which is the first Tuesday in January. So that's really what this discussion is about. And since we knew we would be at 101-101 as Speaker at the end of last term, I had issued the writ of special election for February the 7th, which was approximately 60 days after the vacancy was determined through certification of the election. And had the other 2 members who had also won offices split at that time, we certainly could have scheduled them at that time. Unfortunately, as we moved into the new session, we had 2 additional resignations. And to be clear, they didn't have to resign until January the 3rd and January the 17th, respectively. So we could have had a fuller complement of members, at least to start the session. But in a haste to grab power and get back to 102 as quickly as possible, they resigned early. And unfortunately, that put the Democrats in a position of being 99 members and therefore, by definition, both by math and the law, not in the majority. So it's really a question of legislative power in terms of who has the authority to write that. I would have been more than happy to do it had they simply resigned much sooner.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.